season or
Cousin!
not?
I love the bear.
Alex God, cousin!
I don't know who I'm talking to over there. A great,
cousin.
my 3D cousin. Boring.
Cousin!
It's
All right, you ready?
allegedly, bro. Let's just
Allegedly. That's all I need, allegedly. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Rebound Podcast, where we talk about movies, TV shows, anime, anything with the story, really. My name is Oz, and as always, I'm joined here by my co-host, Ryan.
Hey, girlies.
What it do?
What's up?
And, yo, so, it's been a little bit, right? We haven't really done an episode of the podcast. It's been officially a week or so. What's been up? Have you seen anything new?
I've been
You wanna talk
vibing.
about it? You've been vibing. Listen, who
I've
hasn't
been
vibing?
busy with DM prep. I've been 3D printing.
That's true.
And just breathing in microplastics. Oh, just left and right.
Love that.
And mainly watching anime.
I tend to drink my microplastics. So.
Right. Yeah. Most people do. A credit card a year, baby.
Nice. Oh, is that true?
That's the average. Yep.
That is a lot worse than I thought it would be.
Yes.
All right, so you say you were watching anime. What have you been watching?
Demon Slayer. I'm caught up. Because I
I'm not.
love
Don't
Demon
say
Slayer.
spoilers.
I love Demon
Don't
Slayer.
say the spoilers.
Let's just say it gets hype. Demon Slayer episode?
We're gonna have to. Realistically, we're gonna have to. When does the season? When is? when does the season end? Or
The season's done.
oh, it's done already?
Yeah, we're waiting on movies. Yep.
Oh shit.
The
Okay.
season's
Well, if anything,
done, baby.
the next episode's gonna have to be a Demon Slayer episode. Then it's official.
Slayer.
Demon Slayer
Kimetsu
episode,
no
you're trying to
Yaiba.
watch it. Which is something that we'll be doing on a regular basis. We'll do a little catch-up corner, I guess, where we talk about stuff that we've seen that we want to talk about, right? I mean, I probably watch a lot more stuff than you do, but even then, I don't want to talk about everything. You know what I mean? You are too busy. He is our GM, DM. I don't know which one you prefer, extraordinaire. So he's obviously, and plus he runs the channel the majority of the time. So, he's a busy gal, as they say.
Girl swamped. Well, let's call it overstimulated princess. All right, there we go.
Okay, interesting term. Let's add the little title. I'm just kidding. Dude, I've only seen two things worthy of talking about.
Yes.
One of them being A Quiet Place, Day One, I think is what it's called.
Oh, did you go to theaters for that?
I did go to theaters. Now, hold on. I have the AMC A stubs or whatever, so technically it was free, right? Because I've already seen too many movies. So listen, I had to get the bang for the buck. You feel me?
Technically, all the other money you gave them paid for it. Got it.
Exactly, and technically all the money I spent on snacks paid for it. So
That was a couple large popcorns right there for that ticket.
no, man. Listen, I ate before, so I just had some cookies, which they have some of the best. It's these little hard cookies. Listen, it doesn't matter. But anyways, the movie disappointment.
Love it.
It obviously. I was a big fan of the first one. I thought the second one was okay. Everybody that I talked to, they were like, "Oh, but Cillian Murphy, yeah, of course he's great. Of course, everybody in the movie is great. It's just the story.
Hey,
is just
did you know a piece of gold is a piece of gold? Like, of course, Cillian Murphy's good.
He's gonna be great in everything he's in. And like this movie, while the acting was great, it's a big departure of what the first two movies are, right? The first one's very well known because it's something new, right? It's this horror movie going on in this silent world, right? You got to be quiet.
I
so
love
it's
the
cool.
first
It's
one,
different. Yeah, no, I think the first one's genius. I think it's great. And I think a lot of that has to do with the original writers being involved in the first one and not coming back for the second one or the third one.
Damn.
Yes. Which is something that I've seen people talk about too, of like, the A Quiet Place helped put John Krasinski in the director's chair. And it's helped him get movies going forward or whatever, right? But he didn't bring the writers back from the first one, so it's very prevalent. Listen, the third movie, I think it's a skip on my end. It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. It's honestly kind of boring, and a lot of people that I've seen online, they love the cat in the movie. Dude, that cat's dumb. What a weird. What's the term, Ryan? Where like there's this little item or animal in the plot that's like nothing's gonna happen to it. Listen, nothing's gonna happen to this animal, right? I'd be shocked if they show this creature running in and just slashing down the cat. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be lit.
Because, it would have been tight. But literally, the cat has 9 lives. Literally, the cat has 9 lives.
Damn.
Overall, disappointing. I gave it like a 5 out of 10, I think. And then
On your
the last thing I want to talk about.
Letterboxd?
On my letterbox, I gave it, I think, like a 2.5 or a 2 even. I don't even know.
Right.
Ranking it out of 5 is a lot difficult for me, as opposed to like the 10 system.
Just
at IMDb.
divide by 2, my guy.
Is that a thing? I'm about to right now. Last thing.
Yes.
The Bear season 3.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I think season 2 is still the best season of the series. It is so good. I just felt like it's tough to explain for those who haven't seen it. I'm not trying to get into spoiler territory.
I love the
but
bear.
Overall,
I love the bear. Love
yeah.
it.
Did you watch the new season or not? Not yet.
I love the bear. No, I don't have Hulu or access to Hulu, so I have not been.
I'm gonna
able
have to give you my password. I'm gonna give you my password today.
You might have.
I will
to,
text it to you.
so I can just catch up to the bear.
For sure. Listen, when you see it, I think you'll catch my drift. I think they do a lot of things good where they expand on more side characters. But they also kind of put themselves in this little hole where it's like narratively, they're just telling the same things over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Like Carmi being traumatized by this one chef. You know what I'm saying? They bring it up like 100 times this new season. I'm like, dude, can we just get to the? They show the same clip of Joel McHale, I think is his name, right?
Yeah.
The same clip of him just hovering over Carmi and being like, hey, you suck or whatever. And I'm like, dude, okay, how many times are we gonna see this over and over again? I just think, and it's they leave a lot for you to want more of this season, which they ended with like a to be continued. I'm like, come on, bro, it's television. Just end the season and move on to the next season. You know what I mean? This isn't a movie. This isn't like a trilogy or anything like that. Just end it. Overall, disappointing. Still great. Acting's phenomenal. It's shot brilliantly. There's an episode, I think it's episode 1, I think is great. And the 3rd episode, banger. I would still give it like an 8 out of 10 season. It's just going from a peak 9.5, almost a perfect season of season 2, going to this, it is a little bit of a downgrade for me. Which I'm sure people in the comments would say differently. And hey, listen, we all like different things. We all think differently about things. So let me hear where you disagree, because I would love to get into a little discussion with them. I would love to be
time
proved wrong
code
too.
down below your favorite time he shouted cousin. Down below. No, I'm just kidding.
There's too many times. Actually, I think they say cousin least amount of times. Oh, and the one I'll leave after this, right? The cameos crack me up. So be prepared for the cameos. Season 3. But yeah, Ryan, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about what are they? They're not indie anymore. I mean, come on. We're talking about a becoming is giant, massive studio. We're talking about A24.
A24.
Did you hear how deep that was? Damn.
Yeah. Yo, you should announce the movies going forward. That got real sexy with it.
In a world. Like
yeah, we're talking about A24, right? Like you said, a studio we used to call indie, right?
yeah, they're not indie
No
more.
longer indie, right? They've transitioned from distributing to producing their own films, making their way into television, and somewhere along that way, Oscar winners. You know what I mean?
They've
so it's
taken
like,
indie mainstream or something, I guess.
something like that. It's
Somehow.
very intriguing how that company just overall took off. I think a lot, for me personally, I think a lot of the times whenever I see an A24 attached to it, I know the movie's gonna be weird. You know what I mean? I know the movie's not gonna be your typical Warner Brothers, your typical Disney movie, just straightforward. No, it's gonna be weird. Or they're just trying to tell you a heartfelt story that's gonna make you cry. You know what I mean?
Or both.
Or yeah, I mean true, or both. Now, let me give you guys a quick little rundown for those who don't know about A24 in general, right? First off, if I were to ask you, Ryan, where did they come up with the name and how, what would you say?
No damn idea.
Exactly.
Yep.
Also, when I tell you how they got the name, it's not gonna matter.
Great.
Apparently, the creator of A24 was driving, I think, on a road through Italy or something like that. It's named A24. He looked at it and was like, dang, that would be cool. Named the company A24.
He took the A24
from like a street, like a long highway from a different country, and was like A24.
Amazing. Great.
It's Listen, it's that simple. And now A24 is like one of the coolest. It's like, yo, A24. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about the highway no more.
Do they adopt that street? No, that's an American thing because our infrastructure sucks.
Okay. Oh man.
A24
So,
baby.
A24 was founded in 2012 or 2012. Good lord, what's going on right now? We're in the future. Was founded in 2012, and like most companies, small, starting up, right? They were a distribution company, right? Now, Ryan, for those who don't know, give them a quick rundown on what a distribution company is compared to a production company.
Distributors are the ones that make sure your movie actually go in the goddamn theater. Yeah, that's their whole purpose. They'll do that. A lot of distributors will also help you with advertising. They'll have advertising companies that they go to. And so by signing a distribution deal with them, you get put into their theaters, the ones they have agreements with, which is all of them. Let's be honest. Most distributors have deals with all of the big theater chains. And then they'll also take care of advertising. They'll help you put together like red carpet events and stuff like that. Anything that involves promotion as well, they could also work with. That the studios really deal with building the movie. Distributors deal with everything else.
It's essentially the middleman between the production side to the theaters.
Yeah, it's your shady guy in a suit that's smoking a cigarette. That's your distributor.
So there's big studios that handle both production and distributions, right? But those are the big studios that have been around for a long time, like Disney, Warner Brothers, right? They handle their own distributions and their own production, so it's easier for them. Whereas a company like A24, when they were first founded as a distribution company, their goal was to give directors the creative freedom that they need, apparently, right? They also help, like I saw when I was doing some research, that about the first 4 years, all they did was distribute films, right? So like the Spring Breakers and Room and stuff like that, right? Like that's all they did was distribute films.
Honestly, all that is making money at that point.
No, for sure. And I think they just knew how to play the game, right? They knew what kind of movies they needed to get the Oscar run. For example, Room was their first Oscar win, with Brie Larson winning Best Actress. And so stuff like they knew how to get the foot in the door. They knew what they wanted to do as far as doing distribution first, eventually making their way after that Oscar win to produce their first film, which was, no surprise there, Moonlight, with Barry Jenkins attached as the director. Now, this is something that I didn't know, was Barry Jenkins had only directed or done one film prior to that, almost like 8 years before. So A24 was taking a chance on Barry Jenkins with Moonlight, and it paid off. Let's be real, right? It kind of launched the style of A24 going forward. Because have you seen Moonlight, Ryan? The aesthetic of the film, right, is, I think, what you would consider an A24 film, right? The color, the way it's shot.
A lot of A24. It's the A24 look. It's that.
Yeah.
It would be completely different cinematographers, completely different directors, completely different writers. Somehow they all look weirdly the same. It's just all indie teams think alike. Let's find a really grungy film stock and let's just really kill all the blacks in there. Just like, let's undershoot the hell out of this. What do you think? Great. All right, cool. We're gonna put that in theaters, baby. Let's go. It's like all of those.
Yeah, they do have a unique sense of style and how their films look, and I think that was very prominent in Moonlight going forward, which gave them the first big win with Best Picture. Now, just like last episode of the podcast, you know how much I love La La Land, and I understand why La La Land didn't win Best Picture, but Moonlight did, right? It's a great story. It means a lot. It's a story that needs to be told, and it looks great. You know what I mean? Why are you laughing at me? I'm
just thinking about playing the clip there. Moonlight. Off the card.
That's that. Listen. Oh man, what a way to talk about a win. But yeah, Moonlight, or A24 is a company, started off distribution. Now they're producing their own things, and they found their way into television, which is wild to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, A24 TV.
A24 TV.
What are the shows?
They got shows like Euphoria, Rami on Hulu, which is a great show. Cannot recommend Rami enough. And you'll recognize this one, Beef, on Netflix.
Oh, right.
All produced by A24. And Beef was a great TV series.
Yes,
on
it
Netflix.
was.
It won Emmys. It's brilliantly written. It was a great show. So, it's like you said, they know what to do to make money. They know what to do to, jumpstart a company to get into Hollywood. Like realistically, and something that I think that not a lot of people talk about, Ryan, is how it helped jumpstart the careers of some directors like the Daniels, Robert Eggers, Ari Aster, right? But something that I think kind of goes under the radar is they gave the directorial debut opportunity to Greta Gerwig with Lady Bird, and now look at her, right, with Little Women and the massive success of Barbie.
Yep.
And now she's gonna be doing the Chronicles of Narnia TV show on Netflix, right? So yeah,
Which is
A24 has
interesting.
done some stuff. Yes, I've never been a Chronicles of Narnia guy, but will I
liked
watch
the
it?
first movie as a kid, but your
But
boy
not
a
as an
Tolkien boy, baby. Come on, it's all C.S. Lewis can eat it, bro. It's I don't need your Jesus allegory in my fantasy. Let it be just fantasy, bro. Anyway,
Okay.
Aslan is Jesus. Spoilers.
Don't even know who that is.
Don't cite
even know
the
who that
old
is.
magic to me, witch. That guy.
Oh, okay. So Ryan,
Yes.
we mentioned a few things of like how and what separates A24 from other companies, right? But what's something that you feel like A24 brings to the table that not a lot of companies do nowadays?
Probably just originality. Most bigger production companies are playing it safe. They play it too safe. It's always sequels. It's always established IPs that then get converted into a film, converted into a TV show. It's never, oh, you have an interesting original idea that is specifically built from the ground up to be a film. It's not a book first. It's not a comic book first. It's not a video game. It's from the ground up going to be a film. Oh, we'll fund it. A24 is one of the few that does that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I think, when we talked about it at the beginning was how when we see a trailer coming up on TV, on the big screen and stuff like that, and it's A24, it's gonna be weird. Like one trailer that always cracks me up that I think was like so bad shit crazy for me was the was a trailer for, I think it was called Lamb, right? It's the one with
that's
with the little lamb child.
with the lamb child. Yeah. It's
It
great.
is wild.
And Numi Rapace or whatever her name is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's attached to it. Never seen it. I've watched somebody break it down like on YouTube or something. I
I've
just don't
seen
want to know what it was about.
scenes, and I was
Yeah,
like, I
same.
don't want to watch this movie.
Yeah. And that's not to say, right? Which is a great way to to make our way into our next topic. Just because it's new, just because it's original, it doesn't make it good. Just because it looks indie, just because it's A24, it doesn't make it good. A24 has had a lot of misses on my end, and I'm sure you could say the same thing. I mean, we've both seen A24 movies that have been a mess personally. Story-wise, it's just wild that it was even told. Which is like, you brought one up, High Life with Robert Pattinson.
Yep. Yeah. That movie sucks.
Yeah.
It was
Wild.
boring.
Yeah.
Dude, there were so many times where I was like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And, there's a suspension of disbelief. You have to be able to go into a movie and accept that for the story to happen, sometimes things have to not make sense. You failed with your film if I cannot suspend that disbelief. And that was like immediate with High Life. That movie's dumb.
It's so weird. And not in the good way. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't explain things correctly. It's just a mess of a movie. Once again, we talk about actors being great actors in it. They're going to be great, right? You got Robert Pattinson in there. You have, what's that new chick that's been blowing up through all the X movies? I don't remember her name, but we'll put her up here.
Maxine.
Yeah, exactly. The leading actress in Maxine. Mia Goth. I just
Mia
remember her
Goth, yep.
Yeah, she's great in it too, but it's just like a great cast doesn't save a movie, and just because it looks indie doesn't make it good. So A24 has had misses, though I think their failures aren't massive failures like bigger studios have had, because bigger studios tend to put more money into films just because they think it's gonna make them more money on the back end, and that is not true.
Yeah, what's been flopping recently? Everything.
Everything
Yep.
flip-flopping.
Yep.
Except certain movies, apparently, right? I think I was seeing a report on, I think it was Bike Riders, because we talked about it last episode. Bike Riders is already getting a digital release, and it's only been in theaters for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like so quick, where I'm like, man, they just gave up a movie so fast. But then again, you're expecting it to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, everything's flopping nowadays.
They're all like, theaters are dying. It's like, yeah, because you're de-incentivizing the need for them. You put a movie, you drop a movie in theaters, and then 2 weeks later it's on streaming everywhere. People aren't going to leave their house.
Why would you go?
They're going to watch it on streaming. And
I mean, think about the run for like Oppenheimer and stuff.
Like, duh, of course not.
No, but think about like Oppenheimer and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had a run going forever, essentially, right? Same with Barbie and stuff like that. Those movies, but they only tend to do that with movies that are making them money. They don't want to risk the chance for it to eventually blow up, right? Or realistically, they're just making bad movies, and they just gotta release them here and there. Which is something actually interesting that I read, that A24 has a deal with Apple TV. They used to have a TV deal with DirecTV, but what they would do allegedly is the movies that they don't think are gonna be a big success in theaters, they dump them on like Apple TV to like release as like an Apple exclusive, which makes sense. Makes sense. Straight to streaming, you can only watch A24 movies here, type of deal. You know what I mean?
A guaranteed return. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's that I found interesting, because it's smart. It really is smart. It's like Disney making a bad Marvel movie and being like, well, it's now a Disney Plus exclusive.
Plus. Ugh.
Which I should say, Ryan, my Hulu login does have Disney Plus and stuff attached to it.
No, I know. They're all attached.
So, you know, Disney Plus gang, not true.
Star Wars.
Let's talk about merch real quick. Not our merch. We don't got that yet. Merch through A24. That's something that I feel that sticks them out.
Wait, I have merch.
Exponentially. Go get the merch. While he gets the merch, listen, A24 is great with getting merch with things like t-shirts. Oh, he brought the hand out. Look at that.
Oh, hey. How's it going?
The handshake is wild. Now, where's this merch from, Ryan?
This is from one of my favorite horror films ever. Talk to Me. This is from Talk to Me. It's the demon hand, but it's also an incense burner. Yeah.
That's lit.
Love it.
They do great merch for a company that's like, they want to be different so bad in a great way.
Well, they know that's where the money's at, is merchandising.
For sure. So they do that, right? They do merch like that for Talk to Me. They do merch for movies, and like it's especially like the movies that are blowing up. But like, for example, I have like 2 screenplay books from Moonlight and Ex Machina, which is a great way to get somebody to get something physical in their hands. It has director notes, it has the screenplay, it has concept images, it has the director writing about what's going on through certain scenes and stuff like that. And that is amazing.
Yeah, I have their website open right now, and it's a clip from a film, 3 shop links, a clip from a film or show. This is a show, The Sympathizer, and then 3 shop links, because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I've yet to see a like production company like that, like big like that to do merch the way they do.
Yeah,
it's like they have their own, like, dude, you could throw Warner Brothers on a t-shirt and be like, that's our merch. That's not the same thing. They do vinyls. They do these weird props that you can get, like with Everything Everywhere All at Once. You can get the hot dog hands. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just they do merch that is very niche, but is very freaking cool, and it helps put their name out there. Something that I read very early on is that they wanted to rely solely on word of mouth when it comes to the company, right? No big billboards, no big stuff like that. Very early on, they wanted it to be word of mouth, and what better way to do word of mouth than doing merch that they can get a shirt, a sweater with A24 on them, everything.
Was Everything Everywhere All at Once A24?
It was.
It was?
It was.
Oh my god, it was.
It was.
My list has to change.
Actually, talk about a perfect timing. He's adjusting his list because, Ryan, we are going to do Now listen, we can't talk about every single A24 movie our favorites. I mean, there's a bunch that don't even make the list. They've distributed and produced a bunch of films, so there's no point in getting that deep into it. But what we are gonna do is give you our 5 favorite A24 films ranked from worst to best. But let's be real, the top 5 means they're gonna be great from 5 to 1.
Pretty much.
So Ryan, start it off with us. Let's hear this newly
my
adjusted
newly
list.
updated list, as you might have heard me scratching things off with my pen here. Number 5, it's going to be one of their distribution films. It would be Enemy.
You don't go to the movies, do you? I don't go out that much. Is there a reason why you're asking me this? You know, maybe you had a recommendation.
Don't even know of my favorite Canadian boy. Please don't hate us. I'm sorry. You're my favorite director. I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't send the Canadians after me. Yeah, no, I love Enemy. It's claustrophobic. It makes you feel ill. If you haven't seen Enemy, audience, Enemy is where Jake Gyllenhaal loves and hates Jake Gyllenhaal, and it causes problems for both of them. And then it turns out that it's all an allegory for narcissistic disorders and being a piece of shit in your marriage. It's good stuff.
I've never seen it. I've seen clips, specifically the giant spider clip, which is
wild,
terrifying.
Wild, yep,
terrifying,
yep.
Terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie. There's not a lot to talk about there. Also, I've only seen it like 3 times, and that was years ago. But it's good. It's my number 5. I'm putting him at number 5 because it is a victim of the A24 look. I don't know how. It looks like an A24 movie. If anybody watches it, they'll be like, and this was before they were even producing. It just looks like an A24 film. Man, imagine shooting huge format, but it's like all tight rooms and claustrophobic. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I kind of imagine that they use their newfound style as like, you know what? These movies did good. Let's just adopt that style from the successes through the distribution.
Stole from their distributions, yeah.
Yeah.
For their teams, yeah. We have a look Bible for how would these all look. Watch Enemy. Good. That's it.
All right, shoot. Let's hear your number 4.
Well, what's your 5?
Oh, we're going just back to back? Easy.
Hell yeah, back and forth, baby.
Listen, number 5 for me will be Moonlight.
Try to forget all those times.
At some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you gonna be. You can't let
Directed
nobody
by
make that decision.
Barry Jenkins. This movie means a lot to me in the sense of I think I find it extremely powerful on the story being told, right? And for those who don't know, Moonlight is about a boy and how it basically takes you throughout different times of their lives. You know, he's younger, he's like I would say he's maybe like around 8 or something like that years old, maybe younger than that, and then travels into his teenage years and his adulthood and how he handles living in some form of a ghetto and dealing with figuring out who he is as a person, his sexuality, everything. And I think the way it's told is very well done. It's very powerful, and I think it's a story that needed to be told in that specific way. And we talked about it earlier on because it was the first A24 movie that they produced themselves. They gave Barry Jenkins the full, you know, like you could do how you like tell the story however you want to tell it. And it succeeded in every way. It looks like an A24 movie. There's a beautiful shot that I always think about when I see this movie, and that's when they're by the sea. It's blue as hell, and they're just sitting there. It's great. It's told very well. Can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen it and you're trying to get sad, trying to get in your feels, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Just disappear into them. My number 4 is The Lighthouse.
Tell me, what's a timberman want with being a wiki?
Just looking to earn a living, just like any man. Starting new.
On the run.
Who directed that one? Was that
Hell,
also?
I don't remember.
I think that might be Robert Eggers. All right, shoot, continue.
It's The Lighthouse.
Weird.
4x3,
Weird.
black and white. Robert Pattinson. And then Also, the one, the only Willem Dafoe, who just goes, hark! Like loud as hell in that one scene as he's calling on Poseidon to strike Robert Pattinson down. That movie's insane. It's the most Cthulhu mythology film that has nothing to do directly with the Cthulhu mythos. It's all about madness, isolation, farts. What a movie. Definitely watch it. It's 100% odd. It's odd. I love it. I do not watch it a lot. Mm-hmm. Good movie, though. Great movie.
I personally enjoy it.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. It's bananas. It is for sure bananas. Unless you've seen it, there's no other way to explain it. It's, you know, like you said, it's full of madness. There's also, you know, as a kid, you know, who hasn't seen The Little Mermaid and was like, oh, wow, Pretty Mermaid, right? Not no more after that movie. Just saying, wild.
Wild.
Wild. Like what would you do if a mermaid got washed up ashore? You know what I'm saying? Not what Robert Pattinson did. But
nope. I'd be calling like scientists.
Yeah, he called it a different kind of science. You know what I'm saying?
I would burn it and say abomination or something like that.
Okay, that's wild. But yeah, no, weird movie. I highly recommend though. It's shot very well.
Oh yeah, it's
but
clean.
Yeah,
that movie's clean. It's just wild. It's such a wild film, dude.
It's all wild. Okay, so speaking of abominations,
yes.
my number 4 is Ex Machina.
Oh damn.
Caleb, I'm just gonna throw this out there so it's said, okay? You're freaked out. You're freaked out at me meeting me, having this conversation in this room at this moment, right? But can we just get past that? The whole employer-employee thing?
It's good to meet you, Nathan.
It's good to meet you too, Caleb.
Ex Machina.
Damn, I love that movie.
Ex Machina is the shit.
That's a yearly watch for me. That's a yearly watch.
Same. I literally just watched it like 2 months ago, I think. It is so good. That movie, listen, it's about artificial intelligence, what real artificial intelligence would be. Through, I think her name was Ava, right? A robot. And it is so cool. It is so cool because it's shot shot using like 3-4 actors the whole time. You know what I'm saying? It's so cool. It's just 3 people living. One's a mad scientist. One's a guy who just wants to figure out who's attracted to this robot. One's a robot trying to learn.
The beautiful mansion they shot in, like
dude,
out in the boonies somewhere.
Listen, you talk about having like a layer as a mad scientist, and that's what you want. That's what you want.
Yep.
You want a giant boulder in the middle of this field, and you build around that.
Yep,
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And you build around that. That's your house now.
That's such a good movie. It's such a good movie.
It's so good. It is directed by, dude, I remember his name for the life of me right now. He's had some misses.
Stop bringing up directors.
He's
We can't remember
He has some
name.
misses. But overall, great movie. Highly recommend. Check it out. Ex Machina.
It's Alex Garland. It's Alex Garland.
Listen, we promise you we know what we're doing. We promise you we know what we're doing. We promise you we know what
Alex
we're doing.
Cousin!
It's Alex Garland.
Alex Garland, who just recently did another A24 movie not too long ago, Civil War, which I thought was dumb.
That's
another story.
Stupid. It's not on either of our lists because that movie blows.
Definitely not.
That's also not how journalism works.
What do you mean? I'm just kidding. Listen, yeah, Alex Garland, Ex Machina is low key a masterpiece. Love it. Give us more of that. Even though you're technically not anymore.
No,
but
he's not anymore.
He's not anymore. But
he did Annihilation.
Yeah.
I love Annihilation.
I love Annihilation too. I think it's such a crazy.
Not
movie.
A24. Paramount.
Not A24. Not on this list. Speaking of the
not
list,
on this
Ryan,
list.
You're number 3.
Are we number 3? Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Mrs. Wang. Mrs. Wang. Mrs. Wang, are you with us?
I am paying attention.
Now, you may only see a pile of receipts, but I see a story. I can see where this story is going. It does not look good.
Hilarious, heartfelt, good action? Hello? What a I don't know who I'm talking to over there. A great my 3D cousin. Print that. It's dude, what masterful performances. When my guy won his Oscar, I cried. What, dude? It's so what a good movie. If you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, it is the epitome of when weirdness becomes art. The film. It's so good. I mean, the Everything Bagel. Come on, bro. Now I want an Everything Bagel. It's such a good movie, dude. I can't. I'm gushing. Ooh, I love that movie. She a hot bitch. It's a great film.
Yeah, no, this movie is also on my list. But
Ex Machina's on my list.
Shit. It looks like I'll save my thoughts on everything.
Oh yeah, and the Daniels directed. Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert. Oh man, and the Academy Awards, baby, come on.
Oh, it swept that season. Michelle Yeoh winning.
So good.
Won best directing, best directors, rightfully so. That movie is so well done on such a lower budget compared to like these other movies that it was going up against. And it is, oh man, when you have directors and writers who give a shit about the movie, right? Actors who trust the directors and know what the reading on paper is going to be. Exactly. Yep. It shows on how great that movie is. That movie is so good.
I'll never get over Jamie Lee Curtis's character in that.
Dude, I'll never get over like Jamie Lee Curtis and Michelle Yeoh falling in love and caressing each other with the hot dog fingers. It's so crazy.
It's such a good movie. Watch it. Turn this off. Watch it. Pause this. Yeah. Pause this. Actually, pause this. Watch it. Come back.
Love it. Love it. Do that immediately.
What's your next film?
Number 3 for me. It's time to get a little sad. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about. I mean, yeah, we gotta get sad. Listen, my number 3 is Past Lives.
There's a word in Korean, 인연. It means providence or fate.
Do you believe in that?
That's just something Koreans say to seduce someone.
By Celine Song. That one I do remember the director's name. Listen. I adore this movie. It is a story about a Korean-born woman trying to figure out who she is in different times of her lives, right? A lot of people talk about the love story between the main actress and the main actor characters, right? But it has nothing. It has a lot to do with romance, but it has a lot to do with her saying goodbye to her previous life because she has been raised in New York, in the United States. So, being an immigrant myself, going from like, I'm not from there and I'm not from here. You know what I mean? We're kind of put in this middle. It speaks wonders to me in that sense of like, sometimes in order for you to move on into your new life, you have to let go of your past. And for this story, letting go of the past is letting go of not only her old friend, but her old self as well. Beautiful story. Loved it. Cried. No surprise there. Brilliant movie. Shot well. And I believe it is the directorial debut too for Celine Song as well, which, listen.
Good start. Yep.
Good start. Very good start.
Here's your flowers. Good
strong.
start.
Yeah. No. Great movie. If you haven't seen it and you want to get in the feels, you already know. I got you. I will always give you a recommendation for the feels, and Past Lives is one of them. Go check it out. Now, we're getting to the nitty-gritty, Ryan. The top two. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Ex Machina.
Okay.
We already talked about it.
Listen,
could you imagine?
I mean, no, for sure.
We already talked about it. Done. Ex Machina.
I mean, we low-key kind of did.
I love Ex Machina. It's a great movie.
Great movie. Check it out.
Let's redo that.
What is your number 2?
My number 2 is something we've already talked about. It's Ex Machina. Come on. It's Ex Machina. It's a great movie. It's got to be up there. High up there. Because, come on, bro. When I think of the movie that put A24 on the map, it's Ex Machina. I think of Ex Machina. It had for a film of its type, like paper thin little budget, a borderline, no, it was a good marketing campaign, but not this huge, bombastic, giant marketing campaign. It was this director that a lot of people haven't heard about, who also wrote it. He had been writing other things. He'd been writing books and stuff too. Like, he's an author. Alex Garland's an author. And then it blows up. Everybody's praising it. It explodes. It's beautiful. It's complex. The CGI work from the post team is
very well done.
impeccable. Good job. Here's your roses. Like, damn.
Very well done. Very well done.
Masterful performances by the three leads, and even our supporting actress playing the, let's be honest, a sex bot. She was great too. She was great too.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
Yeah, no, Ex Machina is my number 2. It is a phenomenal film. Watch it.
So, my number 2, we won't talk about because I know it's going to be your number 1, and we can get into an in-depth discussion for your number 1.
Yeah.
But I'll say it just for the TikTok and the video. My number 2 is Talk to Me. Exactly. But I'll skip you on your number 1 and go to my number 1, because my number 1 is actually something we've already talked about.
Yes.
And that is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Great movie.
That movie is, I mean, we've already gave it its roses. It's won Oscars. It's given career revivals and stuff like that. And it just put directors that needed to be put on the map, really, right? But something that I wanted to touch base on is, once again, the immigrant aspect of that film, of being from another country, living, trying to like have a successful business and try to connect with your daughter who was raised here and doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so much about that film. It's, aside from having the cool action, the crazy scenes, right? It is so heartfelt. It is so meaningful. The final discussion scene between the mom and the daughter is so well done.
Are you talking about when they're rocks or after that?
After the rocks. It's the one where they're outside. It's right after the rocks, right? It is so powerful. It's meaningful. And that movie, it just goes back to what we were saying about having two directors who know what they want to do with it and know the story they want to tell. And like, they are telling this brilliant story about a mother and a daughter in such a unique way that takes it up a notch that we've never seen before.
Yeah, being able to tackle the question of how do I develop a relationship with my child who literally has a different culture than I do, in such a silly, manic episode framework, and yet have it hit every point it needs to and deliver the message that, you know, love, family, communication, and understanding will win in the end, is really, honestly, peak filmmaking. I love that movie. Movie.
I could never give it the flowers that it deserves, because it deserves so many. It goes up there as being one of my all-time favorite films because of how meaningful it is, aside from how freaking cool it is at the same time. No. But yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once is my number 1 A24 film.
Magnificent.
All right, Ryan, let's hear it. The crowd's waiting.
Talk to me.
They're roaring.
It's my number 1 is Talk to Me.
Have you seen the group chat? You're doing it again tonight. No. Please. It's my mom's Remembrance Day. I just want to forget about it.
And it's, in terms of filmmaking, some of the films on my list are better, I would say. But in terms of, this is what I'm about, baby. Horror is my least favorite genre, period, because horror does nothing but shovel out garbage. But every once in a while, a horror film will drop, and it is such interesting takes on what scares you. It is such interesting filmmaking choices. It's an actual good script. It's a good cinematic look. It's good editing and good directing and great acting that I get blown away. Because again, if you expect the least from the whole genre, when something good peeks through, it's like a shining star, bro. Talk to Me, made by 2 internet memesters on this platform that you might be watching this on, YouTube. Play the clip of Ronald McDonald screaming. They made a film on a nothing budget for Australian film festivals, and then Australia said, here's money, and helped, and then now it was one of the most successful horror movies that year. It was probably the most successful, actually, in terms of budget to return ratio. Because capitalism is how we gain success, apparently. But I mean, nobody actors, just all local Aussies that they knew, and they said, hey, we want to make a movie about something that creeps us out. And those two guys, I don't think anything could creep them out. But I mean, come on. I bought the prop for a reason, bro. All right? I bought it for oh, stop. For a reason. And it's because I love that movie. I love that movie. It's so good. So good.
Now, for those who don't know, and Ryan, you know this very well.
I know this.
I hate horror movies. Hate horror movies, not only because I think they suck most of the time.
Most of the time they do.
But also because I am a big ass baby. I hate being scared, right? And I hate, but here's the difference. Okay, first off, relax. I hate being scared in the traditional sense of like jump scares, right?
Yeah.
Because I find it corny, I find it cheesy, and I just hate being scared. I love being creeped out though, right? I love being creeped out because it gets the anxiety going. It makes you want to know more about what's going on. And I think that's what I love about being creeped out about certain movies or like the concept of movies, because I love the lore aspect of things so much. So when things creep me out, I want to know more about it, right? So there's a difference between being creeped out and being scared, right? And this movie, I was very intrigued because we both had seen the YouTubes, right? We both have seen them before. And just the way the movie was made and picked up, it was intriguing to both of us, right? We saw it together for the first time, and we walked out with our jaws to the floor, just like, wow, very impressed.
Yeah.
The number one thing that will forever stick out to me for this is the story. The story's so cool.
Yep.
The idea is so cool to talk through the ghost through this like porcelain hand, dude. It's so cool. It's so creepy. The ending's incredible. The story from point A to point B is just, oh man, I cannot preach it enough. As somebody who absolutely hates horror films and does not recommend any ever, this movie is a must-see to anybody who loves the genre, anybody who doesn't like the genre, and anybody who might be interested in getting into the genre. Talk to Me is a horror masterpiece.
Yep.
For sure.
Definitely
it's
get
so
in there
good.
with Talk to Me.
And it's like what you said, you said it so perfectly, where horror movies nowadays, like for example, right, apparently, because I've seen this recently, apparently, there's a horror movie. Hold on, let me find the name. Let me find this real quick. I won't find the names, but come to find out, Russell Crowe has starred in 2 exorcism movies.
Oh, back to back. Yeah.
Back to back. Exorcist
Pope's
priest,
Exorcist,
right?
and then Exorcism.
The Exorcist or something like that. Yeah. 2 movies about him being an exorcist, right?
And they both suck.
And they're both not even attached to each other.
Yep.
It's like not one's like a sequel, the other one's not a prequel. It's just 2 movies that he said, yeah, I'll be an exorcist twice.
I watched The Pope's Exorcist. That was
did you?
trash, bro. It was
wild.
Like cool world building. They're like, there's all these demons locked away around the earth. And I'm like, where's that anime? Give me that anime. But instead it's old ass Russell Crowe going, in nomine Patri et Filii Spiritus Sancti, amen. And I'm like, this is boring.
Cousin!
It's
Listen. The thing that makes me laugh about that the most is that Russell Crowe agent was like, do you want to be an exorcist? And then maybe a few months go by, he's like, you want to be another exorcist?
You know, you did it once. You still in that MySpace?
That's great. Exactly. He's like, listen, I know you went in depth and like became a real exorcist for this, right? And you're still in there, right?
He's like
How about you just
ordained
go?
by the church.
Yes. That would have been, listen, talk about marketing for a film. Talk about marketing for a film. Russell Crowe really went and got ordained to be an exorcist. He went into the, you know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't want to watch that? That's kind of cool.
Truth. He's like, demons are real. I've been fighting them this whole time. I can't make movies anymore. Gotta be an
I gotta fight
exorcist.
them. That's crazy. Imagine. But no, like you get movies like that. You get movies like The Exorcist, The Pope's Exorcist, whatever the hell it's called, right? Dude, you get terrible horror movies like that on a consistent basis. Consistent basis. It feels like they drop a new horror movie every 3 months.
Yeah, because
you know
they're
what I mean?
cheap, easy to make. A jump
And
scare
people
isn't
love 'em.
fear, it's a shock. You know, like it takes a good script, it takes good building to make fear happen. Fear is something you do to yourself.
Oh.
So for a script to do that, to give you the pieces for you to scare yourself, it's a good script. It's a good script.
That's
instead of
what
just,
a way to explain that.
Instead
That's
of just
brilliant.
fucking like it's just
What a
that's
great way to
cheap.
explain that. What a great way to explain that, because even I can't even recall a jump scare through Talk to Me that wasn't warranted in a sense of it being creepy. You know what I mean? Like there's really no jump scares because they don't want to rely on that shit. They want to creep you out the proper way. You know what I mean? And like that's something that I also like about, like, for example, Hereditary. That movie's
that movie.
also
It was
creepy.
almost on
Creepy.
the list. Almost.
Dang. Sorry, Ari Aster, you got cut. Got cut. It was definitely not almost on my list, but can always respect a good creepy ass story, bro. I will always respect that. You feel
Same
me?
with Midsommar.
Even if I hide in the comments and I'm going through TikTok looking at all the part 3s or whatever, trying to figure out what the story's about, because I don't want to watch a scary movie. You know what I mean? I will forever do that. But yeah, Talk to Me. Great movie. I knew it'd be your number 1. That's why I didn't talk about it on my number 2. But it does warrant your number 1, especially the way you explained it, where it may not be the number 1 in the best filmmaking sense of things, right? But as a movie, man.
It's the number 1 in my enlarged heart. Thanks, cholesterol.
That's facts though. No, but
real serious at the end there.
Listen, A24, keep doing what you're doing. Listen, I feel like our list is gonna change going forward. Obviously,
It
in the
probably
next
will.
few years,
They might actually
we're gonna have a
release more
new
bangers.
top
Like I
5,
want to
yeah.
see Heretic because I love him as a bad guy, bro. Hugh Grant's as a bad guy. I love it.
Oh, that's the one with the 2 Jehovah's Witnesses, whatever, getting locked up, or whatever.
They get locked up in
that's
his house?
interesting. Yeah,
I'm
that's
watching
interesting.
that. I'm
I
watching
just seen the
that.
trailer. Just seen the trailer. Do you know? I don't know if this is true or like I actually don't know if that's on there. But is Nosferatu an A24 film, or is it going to be produced or something
is
else?
that an A24 film? Let's
Only
look
because
it
I
up.
know it's Robert Eggers
Nosferatu.
directing, and I know Robert Eggers has a big relationship with them.
No,
it is not. Ooh,
I don't.
It's-
I don't see A24.
I would assume only because it's an IP thing. It's already an existing IP.
Yeah, but it's for use, baby.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, it's been
A24,
over.
what are you doing?
It's been forever, bro.
No shit. Well, listen, that's the movie we're both excited about. Robert Eggers got his career started with A24.
Christmas
But-
release?
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. It's official Christmas movie.
Merry Christmas, kids. Yeah.
But that's it. Listen, that's our A24 rundown. A24 top 5 list. Ryan, take us to the outro, yeah?
Audience, talk to me. Hey, you guys can watch all of our other stuff. Listen, we're on TikTok. We're here on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you're listening to this a week after it released on YouTube. What a loser. You guys could be on the other platforms and watching our other content. We got Monday Minis. We got The Veiled Light. We have other things in the works that I actually need to talk to Oz about. Yeah. Guys, thank you.
it was like
Thank
we're
you
having a
so
meeting
much
after
for
this.
watching. And remember, if a porcelain hand comes in the mail, don't put it in your mouth. That was gross.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
They like you.